Good morning everybody. Welcome back all of you in online classes, class 7th science classes. And as you know that in our previous video we have started chapter 9, that is soil. And in this chapter we have done that how soil is formed, and we know that soil is formed by the process of weathering of rocks. Now we know that what is weathering of rocks. The process of breakdown of huge rocks into small rock particles by the action of sun's heat, wind, rain, flowing water, climatic condition is called weathering. So weathering of rocks is very slow process, and it takes millions of years to break huge rocks into its fine particles to make soil. Then we have discussed about the soil profile, and we know that a vertical section through the soil showing the different layers of the soil is called soil profile. And we know that soil profile is having topsoil, that is called A horizon, then subsoil, that is called B horizon, and substratum, that is called C horizon, and next is bedrock, that is also called D horizon. So friends, today we are going to start next topic, that is soil types. As you know, weathering of rocks produces small particles of various materials. These includes sand and clay. The relative amount of sand and clay depends upon the rock from which the particles were formed. That is the parent rock. The mixture of rock particle and humus is called soil. Living organisms such as bacteria, plant, roots and earthworm are also important parts of any soil. So the soil is classified on the basis of the size of the rock particles. And we can say the soil is classified on the basis of the proportion of the particles of various sizes. If soil contain greater proportion of big particle, it is called sandy soil. If the proportion of fine particle is relatively higher, then it is called clay soil. And if the amount of large and fine particle is about the same, then the soil is called loamy. Thus the soil can be classified as sandy, clay and loamy. So soil is classified into three main types on the basis of size of the rock particle: sandy soil, clayey soil, loamy soil. Sandy soil contain a large amount of sand and very small amount of silt and clay particle. Sand particles are quite large. They cannot fit closely together, so there are large spaces between them. These spaces are filled with air, so we can say that sandy soil is well aerated. Sand particles have large space between them. This makes sandy soil very porous. Water moves rapidly through it and dries quickly. It cannot hold much water. Sandy soil is light. It has a tendency to be blown away by the wind, and sandy soil lacks humus, so it is less fertile. That means humus is not present in the sandy soil, that's why it is less fertile. Sandy soil does not hold water, has less humus and fewer soil organism, so it is not suitable for growing crops. And sandy soil is not sticky. Sandy soil is found in deserts. So this is the properties of sandy soil. The next soil is clay soil. Clay soil contains mainly clay. It has very little amount of sand and silt. It contains some humus and clay particles being much smaller and packed tightly together, leaving little space for air. So clay soil has little air. Clay soil has very small and tightly packed clay particles that making it less porous. So it has a very good water holding capacity. Clayey soil gets water-logged easily during the rainy season. Clayey soil turns very hard on drying, and this soil is heavy because it can hold more water than the sandy soil. And one more important property of clay soil is that it is very sticky when wet. Next soil is loamy soil. The best topsoil for growing plants is loam. Loamy soil is a mixture of sand, clay and another type of soil particle that is known as silt. Silt occurs as a deposit in riverbeds. The size of the silt particle is between those of sand and clay. The loamy soil also has humus in it. It has the right water holding capacity for the growth of the plant. So loamy soil contains an equal amount of sand and clay, and it also contains silt. It is mostly dark brown in color, and loamy soil is the best for growing crop because loamy soil has right water holding capacity that is necessary for the growth of the plant due to the presence of clay, and loamy soil has adequate air spaces between them, so it can hold the sufficient air needed by the roots of the plants due to the presence of sand in it. Loamy soil contains sufficient amount of humus to provide necessary nutrients for the growing plants. So loamy soil can be plowed easily in the crop fields. That's why it is a best soil for growing plants. Now students, one activity is given. According to this activity, collect the samples of clay, loamy and sandy soil. Take a fistful of soil from one of the sample. Remove any pebbles, rocks or grass bladed from it. Now add water drop by drop and knead the soil, that is given in figure 9.4a. After kneading, add just enough water so that a ball, that is given in figure 9.4, can be made from it, but at the same time it should not be sticky. Try to make a ball, that is given in figure 9.4c, from this soil. On a flat surface, roll this ball into a cylinder, that is given in figure 9.4d. Try to make a ring from the cylinder, that is given in figure 9.4e. Repeat this activity with other sample also. Does the extent to which a soil can be shaped indicate its type? Can you suggest which type of soil would be the best for making pots, toys and statues? Yes, after performing this activity, we will come to know that clay soil is the best for making pots, toys and statues, because we know that clay soil has a very good water holding capacity and it turns very hard on drying, and clay soil is very sticky when wet. That's why clay soil is used for making pots, toys and statues. Now students, will study about the properties of soil. You have listed some uses of soil. Let us perform some activities to find the characteristics of the soil. So one character that we will discuss now, that is the percolation rate of water in the soil. So students, what is the meaning of percolation? Soil has spaces between its particles. So when water is poured over soil, then some of it gets absorbed in the soil and the rest passes down the soil. The process in which water passes down slowly through the soil is called percolation of water. Water can percolate through all types of the soil. The percolation rate of the water tells us how fast water passes down the soil. So now we are discussing about the percolation rate, and what is the meaning of percolation rate? The percolation rate of water in a soil is the volume of water in milliliters which passes down the soil per minute. So one formula is also given for calculating the percolation rate of water in the soil, that is equal to volume of water percolated in the soil given in milliliter divided by time taken for this percolation, that is given in minute. So this is all about the calculation of percolation rate. So students, percolation rate of water in soil, now we are going to discuss. Bujo and Paheli marked two different squares of 50 centimeter each, one on the floor of their house and the other on the kacha road. They filled two bottles of the same size with water. They emptied the water from the bottles, one each, at the same time in the two squares. They observed that the water on the floor flowed down and was not absorbed. On the kacha road, on the other hand, the water was absorbed. So to understand this phenomenon, we have to perform one activity. Now let us perform an activity to understand this. In activity 9.4, for this activity, divide yourself into three teams. Name the teams A, B and C. You will be finding out how fast the water passes down the soil. You will need a hollow cylinder or a pipe. Ensure that each team uses pipes of the same diameter. Some suggestions for obtaining such a pipe are given below, that if possible, get a small tin can and cut off its bottom. If PVC pipe approximate diameter 5 cm is available, cut it into 20 cm long pieces and use them. At the place where you collect the soil, place the pipe about 2 cm deep in the ground. Pour 200 ml water in the pipe slowly. The measuring 200 ml water, you can use any empty 200 ml bottle or you can use measuring cylinder also. Note the time when you start pouring water. When all the water has percolated, leaving the pipe empty, note the time again. Be careful not to let the water spill over or run down on the side of the pipe while pouring. Calculate the rate of percolation by using the following formula that we have discussed already, that percolation rate is equal to amount of water that is given in milliliter then divided by percolation time that is given in minute. For example, suppose that for a certain sample it took 20 minutes for 200 milliliter to percolate. So, rate of percolation is equal to 200 milliliter divided by 20 minutes, then you will get 10 milliliter per minute. So students, the unit of percolation rate is milliliter per minute. And the difference in the two time reading will give the time taken by the water percolate in the soil. So the percolation rate of water in the soil can be calculated by using this formula. So the percolation rate of the water in particular soil is expressed in the unit of milliliters per minute, which is written ml by minute. So by this formula we can calculate the percolation rate of the water in soil. So this is all about the percolation rate of the water in the soil and how can we calculate, that we have done in this activity. So students, in this video we'll do this much. Thank you everyone.